Amazing, amazing. So hello everyone, I'm Samantha Thompson and I have Lisa here with me. Before we get into all of Lisa's magic and our conversation today, which is on Feng Shui and conscious relationships, I'm going to do a short introduction myself in case you don't know much about me. First of all, I apologize if there's any background noise. I had to go to a cafe today because I have unexpected maintenance going on in my house. So I didn't want to be interrupted by that. And so that's kind of setting that standard. So again, like I said, I am Samantha. I'm a shamanic healer and mentor for women. I help women really release the blocks and heal the negative relationship patterns in their life and in their relationships. Oh, thank you. So again, I'm here with Lisa. Lisa, would you like to kind of introduce yourself and what you do?
Yes. Hi, everybody. And I'm so happy to have you here. I'm Lisa Albin. I am a Feng Shui master trainer and quantum energy alignment practitioner. And that means that I work with not only spatial energy, but aligning and attuning that energy with personal energy in a way that allows people to have better clarity, attraction to opportunities and people, and better clarity too, while they're on their life path journey, and it doesn't matter where they are. So I work with people to help them manipulate and direct energy in a way that supports them.
Amazing. I love that description for what you do. We just let some more people in here. So today's conversation, like we said, is going to be on Feng Shui and conscious relationships and how we can manipulate that energy for the benefit of our relationships and for kind of ourselves and to have more harmony. So we're going to be going over some practical kind of things that everyone can implement into their home, into their lives, so that you can be free to create more harmonious, juicy, intimate relationships. So Lisa, what is the first thing that you look at when someone says they want to kind of take Feng Shui as the route of like fixing their relationship?
Yeah, so it's interesting that you asked that. And relationships is usually the top one or two things that people come to me for. They're looking for either bringing new energy into an existing relationship, or they feel stuck, they feel or lonely, or not attracting suitable partners. Repetitions in toxicity or imbalances. And so one thing I do, the first thing I look to is sit with someone on a one-on-one and get to know them and their personal energy and really listen to them and what they might be feeling and experiencing. And that tells me a lot about what I can do to support them. And it gives me some clues and indications of places I can look into in their home environment. So oftentimes, for example, if there is a stagnancy in the relationship area, then obviously, and also I hope this is okay since we're in Zoom, if anyone wants to ask questions as I'm talking in the chat too, I'll keep an eye. And you can give me some indications there too to help guide this conversation to be useful for you. I will look for clutter and where that clutter is compiling, and the locations in any space, in any surface, can be measured and assessed using a Feng Shui energy map that we call the Bagua. Now, this is something you can Google, and I caution you because there's a lot of inaccurate maps out there. But a Bagua Energy Map is something that I use in an assessment of someone's energy, and I'll look for where these occurrences of clutter might be taking place within their home environment or their workplace or even the work surface, even the cars. And seeing where there's a collection and what type of collection that is. Sometimes it might even be holding on to lots of old photographs. It could be just collections of items that are collecting dust. It could be old outfits. It could be a bunch of shoes in some location. But when we have clutter, and I believe that everybody in this room right now has an understanding how much clutter can trip us up in walking around. And now think about what that does to, if you can think about chi and life force energy circulating throughout an environment, think about what that does. And a good way to illustrate that is, for example, if you're familiar with space clearing, even just walking around with incense or a candle, you can tell when there's stagnant energy when a flame or the smoke will fizzle out or close up. So there's not, we were looking and desiring a movement of energy, free circulation. And so that's the most glaring thing that I'll see first in an environment is I'll track down where is this clutter accumulating? And we all have it. I'm sure even Marie Kondo has clutter in her environment, but it's something for us to be mindful of because it is connected to a life area. And when you look at the Bagua Energy Map, you'll see it's divided into almost a tic-tac-toe quadrant or a sectioned map where there's 9 different areas. And these 9 different areas correlate not only to a location, but to a personal energy. And it ranges from life path and career energy to helpful people and travel, creativity, and that even intertwines with strategic thinking and children energy, the joy and wonder there, and then relationship and partnership. Everybody knows, how's my relationship corner looking? That's the back right corner of your home, your workspace, of your workplace. That contains energy that is traditionally housed, containing and aligned and attuned with relationships and partnership. Surprisingly enough, this isn't the only area of focus to be concerned with. And a lot of people will pour so much time and effort into this area and ignore all of the other areas around, because right next to that, in the back center of a house, contains the energy of fame and reputation, which we prefer sometimes to refer to as inner light or inner flame, or really connect it with your authenticity. Can you imagine how important that is too? And then abundance and family and knowledge and wisdom. And at the heart of it all is holistic health and wellness. And all of these, they're not hard stops. They're all interrelated and they're all connected to the wheel or circle of the 5 earthly elements. And we're either looking to nourish and activate or to diminish, or in a severe way, elements can even cancel each other out or destroy each other. So there is a really purposeful reason why Feng Shui practitioners evaluate environments based on the elements of nature, because we're looking for and seeking out a sense of harmony. And that's really where we get into the nitty-gritty of your space really mirroring your inner self and what you're projecting.
Amazing. That was so much information with so many good, important nuggets in it. And what I'd really like to kind of focus on is kind of this theme that you are seeing. I mean, I know most of the people on here live, and I don't think we're that familiar with Feng Shui. I'm a little bit familiar because I know you, because I've done my own research. But this idea that, okay, there's this layout of a home and different areas mean different things, and the goal is harmony and balance between all the areas, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a specific area of your home that is your relationship corner, right? When you told me about this relationship corner, I went and I checked my relationship corner, and I was like, this is not a good corner for this to be my relationship corner. So I gave it some love. So can you, did you say the relationship corner is the back right corner of a space?
Yes, if you're looking in from your front door. So your front door to your home to your office, to your workplace. The front door is also referred to as the mouth of chi, and is the architectural front door that the architect intended for energy to enter into. So this doesn't mean in the type of feng shui that I practice, this doesn't mean if you enter into your garage all the time, that's not your mouth of chi. So you're not orienting the map in that way. In Black Sect, Tibetan Buddhist feng shui, we always align the Bagua Energy Map with the wall that contains the mouth of chi. So the back right corner there is the relationship corner, and that is an area that should be ruled by the earth element. So how was your corner, Sam? What did it feel like?
Yeah, so it's interesting because I was going based on my bedroom, not the front of the house, because that corner is actually like a couch for me, where the dog sits. Actually, it's exactly where the dog sits in the relationship corner. And we do bond a lot over, me and my partner, over our pets. So I found that interesting. But the one in my bedroom, I actually had my love altar in the relationship corner. And it was on top of a piece of wood, which was cut from a tree in Colorado when I was visiting. And I had a little picture of me and my partner, and some other things, some oils. But I have neglected the love altar in the past maybe like month or so. So there was some like cobwebs on it, that kind of stuff. So I found that interesting, and I'm intrigued by the fact that you said it's ruled by earth, because I did put like a physical thing of the earth there.
Oh, beautiful.
Of the wood. So yeah, it just had some cobwebs that I wanted to clean off and kind of like refresh.
Oh, that really tells me a lot, Sam. I mean, that's, important that you picked up on that. And it's easy. I always talk about, and I do see a question too, and I'm going to come back and address Aaron's question too. I do talk a lot about with my colleagues in the International Feng Shui Guild and the Intrinsic School of Feng Shui. We talk a lot about, even when we are very mindful energy practitioners, in our own space, we can become blind to our own, like nose blind to our own environment, because we see it every day. So when we have items that are, even if they're altar items, even if there are crystals, even if there are candles, you're right, Sam, they collect cobwebs and dust. And so you should be at least at minimum picking these up, if you can, a little bit, even turning them slightly to make sure that you're getting that chi moving again. And releasing any stagnancy, and doing it with intention. And I love that you said you gave it some love, because the most important ingredients, aside from using the Bagua Energy Map, is your intention and your intuition. And so what you just described to me, Sam, was really beautiful, because you were using your intention and your intuition within that space and giving it some love there. And I like that you picked up on the wood that you use as the altar for your photographs. Now, in an area that's ruled by earth, I do want to caution you that if we're looking at the circle of the 5 earthly elements, the energy of wood can be cutting of earth. It's okay to have earth, and that's a loving object. I'm sorry, wood, it's a loving object, but just to be aware that wood itself, when there's an imbalance of it, if there's too much wood in an area that should be ruled by earth, such as the relationship corner, then too much wood would be cutting of that earth energy. So you would really need to do a lot of work to bring back in and to bring it back into harmony. And the suggestion would be there too. Fire is harmonious with wood, because wood nourishes fire. And then fire creates more earth. So by adding in the element of fire in a good way, Sam, like candles or a salt rock lamp or something that is representative of fire, could really bolster and activate more earth energy within that environment. And you mentioned it being the pet area too, and that's cool. And the way that you're referencing it and assessing it is completely appropriate, and we love our pets, and pets contain a lot of positive chi. And that is beautiful. They're part of our family. They need to have a place to go to. But again, just make sure that we're keeping it tidy and, cleaning up pet hair and moving things around here and there, and just keeping that chi fresh and supportive of that earth element that I was just describing.
Yeah,
do you want me
so
to skip back and talk to Erin real quick? I see she was asking about the Bagua map and her side door.
yeah, go ahead and answer her question, and then I'll chime in.
Okay, just really quickly. So Erin, it's okay that your entry door is on the side. In this case, if that's the architectural main front door, then more than likely, in most cases, we would orient the Bagua Energy Map to align with the wall that contains the door that you're walking through. So in some instances, we wouldn't, but you might need a little bit of assistance in that area. But if it's the way I think it is, you most likely will want to orient your map so that it's aligning with that door from your driveway. So, okay, so that's that.
Perfect. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure as everyone listening can probably pick up on and feel, is it's not, Feng Shui is not as easy as I'm going to Google this and this means this and this means this. Like you said, it is highly based in intention and intuition, that like balance of the masculine feminine. And I see which corner. So the relationship corner is the back right corner of the main door that is architecturally built, is what Lisa is sharing with us. So the back
Hi,
right
Annabelle.
corner. Yeah, hi, welcome.
Yeah.
So yeah, and for more major questions, we're gonna wait till the end and kind of answer those, just as a reminder, so that you can get kind of more specific, tailored support from each of us. But just to kind of summarize what you're saying, Lisa, it sounds like not necessarily tidiness, but freshening spaces is really important. Paying attention to our home and using, like, even if you're not a Feng Shui expert, using your intention and your intuition. Okay, my intention is to find more relationship harmony, and maybe like to clear out some old relationship gunk. Maybe me and my partner had a fight yesterday, and to bring in some new love, right? Potentially I might set that intention and then go to different spaces in my home and kind of intuitively move things around or clean up or reorganize. Or I might use in addition to that, some special intention in the relationship corner. But it sounds like it's not just the relationship corner, it's like it's harmony of the whole house. Because if I'm not feeling healthy or any other areas of the house, that's gonna kind of like siphon energy from my relationship too.
Yeah, so it all starts, and that's the interesting part is, and I found over time, everyone was so hung up on getting their relationship corner 100% beautiful and perfect, but still things are not working. And really what matters though is we each have our own energetic imprints and our signature that makes us who we are. And do we know what that signature is that is being received by the world? And what type of frequency are we resonating at? Are we nourishing our joy and contentment so that we're radiating that outward towards the world and attracting what we deserve or what we need that matches our worth? So first and foremost, it goes back to the love of self and taking care of ourselves and getting ourselves to a healthy frequency to be able to radiate that and attract in the right partner is what I've been experiencing and learning and seeing in clients and colleagues and working. And you'll only find really on YouTube a lot of information about, you'll see information about space clearing, you'll see information about adding pink or red. I see a lot of people talking about, or adding pairs, but it doesn't give you the full big picture because it's not just about that relationship corner. And if you're thinking that doing some magic and love there is going to, be the one and done, there's a lot more work that goes behind the scenes. It really involves taking a good look at how you are feeling physically and mentally, spiritually, holistically. Are you at a place where you do have a sense of wonder and awe? And if you don't, then you want to look into finding that. Where are you on your life path journey? I mentioned the area of Feng Shui connected with children and creativity. And that's been coming up a lot. And that's not just an area I look at if someone has children or desires children or is trying to attract in children's spirit energy. That's a place where you want to activate so you have inspiration and forward thinking and dreams and creativity. And that's a good place to start if you need to conjure up what is your inner light. And that's really attracting. That's, if you think about it, when you're looking for a partner, you're looking for someone who's unique and has a vision and a presence that can be felt. And I assure you, each of you have this. And I think sometimes in the minutia of life, in the day-to-day Groundhog's Day, we get a little bit off track and we lose that sense, that childlike sense of wonder and awe. Like you see, when you see a child try to, experience something for the first time or take them to the beach for the first time, and the expression on their face is magnetic. And people can feel it, and people might even gather around to see a child their first time at the beach, or even an adult for that matter, their first time at the beach. The sense of wonder and awe, it's a special energy. So as we're thinking about trying to attract someone on a deep level that matches our vibration and that which we desire or even greater, it's very important to think about holistically where you are, what needs to be nourished within yourself. And then with that information, you can go around and start doing some alchemy within your spaces that matches you. But gosh, think about you see, and I see this a lot out on Instagram, for example, and I see a lot of cute memes about this, but there's certain people out there that you can feel their energy before they even enter into a room. Or if they are in the room, then it uplifts everybody. It's like, this person's here, the party's happening. So think about that energy, and it makes me think of like stoking a fire, right? So like fire energy. Fire is very projecting. It's very, when I talk about radiating, I even think about a candle flame and radiating from the candle outward. But fire energy is really important in also not only from your inner self, but being able to project that out to other people.
Amazing. Awesome. So yeah, like it's cool to kind of focus in on the relationship corner, right? But it sounds like a really like holistic nourishment is what's needed for healthy relationships in the home.
Yeah, the relationship corner is really important. I'm not saying it's not, but it's not the end all be all. It's not just like a, hey, my relationship corner is broken, can you fix it? It's, that's the cherry on the top when you can get that go into a space that it becomes your sanctuary, or your, like you mentioned, like an altar space. Like think of it on a grander level, that becomes something you can eventually tincture around with. But yeah, it is a holistic, energetic, and intertwinement of all the different parts of the equation that need to be taken into consideration. And you're not going to find that. You might see on the internet that, yeah, it's important to have representations of pairs and duality and the existence of a yin and yang in your environment. Those are important in relationships as we talk about those energies attracting and intermeshing and existing together. But that just scratches the surface. It's a process, and if it's something that you are paying attention to, being mindful of, it can take your mindset practice to the next level and really just support you in creating your space to be super beautiful, but also just naturally walking right into the perfect relationship too.
Amazing. So I want to get some feedback kind of from the group to feel where people are at. So If you're here live, go ahead and put in the chat if you are single, if you are in a relationship, and if you are in a relationship, kind of what you're wanting some new freshness around. So maybe like I'm in a relationship, but it feels boring, or I'm in a relationship, but we fight a lot, or I'm in a relationship, but I just desire more fun. Or so kind of like give us a feel of where you're at so we can speak to exactly that. So what I really wanted to kind of add to this conversation, again, I help women heal the negative relationship patterns that keep them from deeper soul nourishing relationships. And I do that through different shamanic practices, trauma healing, energy healing, that kind of stuff. Let me just check in on the single. I've been seeing someone, but we don't have any titles or clarity about what we're doing. Beautiful. Okay, wonderful. Yeah. So I'm just going to wait on a couple other responses before I move forward. So I can speak to exactly kind of where our live group anyways is at. And that's kind of the benefit of joining live. Some of you know this, but I've been doing a series called God, Sex, and Relationships. And this is one episode of the series. And it's all kind of supportive to our relationship with the divine, sexuality, and relationships. And I bring in different specialists like Lisa, and we have a conversation about it. And when you join live, you get to ask questions. Okay, so I'll give you guys some time to kind of respond. Okay, there we go. In a relationship and our schedules and timing of all things can benefit from alignment, so we can actually see each other more and share our lives more. Lisa, is anything intuitively coming through you that would support some of these situations that people are sharing?
Yes. So what I'm hearing is, and I just want to recap too, and I saw shared within chat that there's, the idea or energy of seeing someone, but not any clarity around what the relationship is. And that makes me think, and I'm sure, Sam, we're going to start riffing here in a minute. I can feel it. But think about in terms of your space, when you're thinking about clarity, how does that appear within your space? Is there well-defined placement to invite in another partner? So in this case, are you making room for another partner? Are you, and remember 2 actions. So what you're seeing, people communicate in different ways versus giving titles, but what are the actions showing up as? And then within your space and his or her space, where is there that energy for you to be received in and to be become welcomed in? Is there a space for you to bring in your yourself, like say you're spending the night? Is there room for you to bring in your bag, or do you feel at home, or do you feel like you're relegated to a tiny corner by the door? So there's some indications to look for in someone else's space. Within your space, do you have at least another place setting for this person? Are you making room for them to share in your favorite spots? Yeah, and certainly when kids come into the equation too, that does make things intricate, and I'm very aware of that. I have that in my own relationship energy too, the bringing together of 2 different families and how the dynamics of that too. But here within our own space too, especially when there are kids and children energy in the equation, is certainly designating a space that's your space in each of your places. And not saying that you show up at his or her place or his place and show up with a kit of like stuff for you, but perhaps there's a place where you hang out there that is like your spot where you share in an activity together and really like get a sense, is there a balance there? Is there an equality there? Are there demonstrations of a duality there? And within your own space too, are you making that room? And that's tricky with kids to make that room, but maybe if you could even just find one spot, maybe it's at the, oftentimes this could become like a kitchen counter, or like a, your a dining, your dining room, if you have room in your dining room, or outside. Certainly your bedroom is important. I'm not ignoring that, but a place where you can spend time together and make more space for him, and then vice versa within his space. And it's something for you to be aware of too, because if you consistently see walls and there's not room being made for you within the space, and you're not feeling welcomed, or integrated in any way, that might be some place where you check in with yourself, and then perhaps the center of your home, which is connected with your holistic health and wellness, and check to see if there's any clutter there. Make sure you open it up, do some space clearing there, really get grounded in with earth energy yourself, and look for that courage and that intentionally call upon your inner voice and guidance to be able to bring that to your next meeting. Also, what are you projecting to the world, to him, with your energy? And if you're feeling like a pulling back, I invite you then again, make sure that you go back to that place of grounding. And I think it was you talking about your house too, and there being furniture outside your door. Definitely make sure you clear away your entrance, and so no energy is getting tripped up there. And it should be very, very attracting and inviting at the entrance, just clear of clutter. And even if there's a light there, make it shiny, clean, bright, so that's attracting. Energy starts from without the home, within the space.
Amazing. 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 So really like focusing on the opening to a relationship, like the space opening, if that's what you desire, right? Like you did say you were single, but if you desire deeper relationships, then kind of your work in a case is opening deeper to receiving that relationship through your space and through yourself, and what might be kind of keeping you from opening and receiving that relationship on a deeper level.
Yes, beautifully recapped. Yes,
perfect. So then we have another person saying about this, is there anything to do with time? Like we just don't see each other, we don't have enough time together. I know that's an experience me and my partner have too, because we're both entrepreneurs with businesses and we're both super busy. So Lisa, do you have any recommendations for when people don't have a lot of time together?
Yeah, so I would like a little bit more information around that. And I did, so in Feng Shui, we do work with the ancient I Ching. So I did get my I Ching out too, because that's helpful as we're talking about energy. So timing being off, and the synchronicities and timing is a challenge. And and so one of the love languages is quality time.
Yeah.
And quality time, and designating that time. And so it doesn't matter how often you see each other really, but designating that quality time together, but within your space. And I hope that you're having that conversation about making dates and putting them on the calendar, so that there's not a lot of guessing and when the next time is that you're going to be seeing each other, because that causes a lot of instability. But in terms of there not being a lot of timing, I feel like this would mean perhaps you're taking a look at your careers, and is there an imbalance there? Is there a way one of you can delegate some of your career work out? Is there something within the children and creativity area? So when you're looking in your front door, the right side in the center along that wall is the area where you can evaluate strategies. So working in that area of creativity and children and the energy of strategies would be really helpful, because you can make a plan together, and perhaps you come up with some sort of, we're going to have this many dates a month, and we're going to take this many weekends together in a month, and and then this many vacations in a year, some sort of schedule and strategy so that your relationship can develop and flourish. But you can nurture that strategic energy within the right side, creativity and children. And the energy that I pulled from the I Ching is hexagram number 56, and it's the energy of the wanderer. So the energy of the wanderer, I know a lot about this, and it comes up a lot of, obviously, with people who travel, internationally, even around locally. But the joy of the wanderer is being able to have that tourist energy, and that tourist energy can be invited into a relationship where, think about when you are visiting a place you've never been and you don't know anyone there, but you're looking to see, what can I experience? And in a relationship, that might be, if you look at your relationship through that lens of, what can we experience here together, and something new, and develop deeper layers. So it's deeper than a surface level connection. It can really enrich and bring more love and harmony to your relationship, and perhaps even more curiosity and joy, and that can create a lot of the glue that's really special. Oh, I lost you. I think we muted you.
Oh, I muted myself. My fault. I said amazing. Awesome. Like we said before, I think you guys are kind of starting to get a picture of like, wow, relationships is not just about the relationship. It's this like full spectrum thing that almost always resorts back to self. And kind of what I'm doing with my health, or my focus on myself, or my career, and what decisions I'm making there. So I really love this conversation as like the outer environment being a reflection of our inner environment, and vice versa, because we can kind of target different negative relationship patterns, or different blocks or stagnancies through inner and outer, and they kind of bounce off each other and play with each other. I am nowhere near an outer expert at all. I mostly do things intuitively, and just like with the work of my spirit guides and stuff like that. But I definitely enjoy the inner. And the biggest things that I see kind of blocking people in not only attracting a relationship, but creating a relationship. So even if you attract people, you can still like, even if you attract your dream partner, you still might not be able to receive the things that you desire. So if you want to receive more quality time, if you have this deep trigger around, dad never spent time with me when I was a kid, you're going to project that onto your partner and continue to, you're not spending enough time with me, when they're spending all their time with you, right? So I think it's important to look at, and I'm not saying that that's what's happening in your case, Annabelle, because it doesn't sound like that. But as an example, if we don't actually change and clear out the gunk in our inner world, we can't actually receive what we are desiring in our outer world from our partner. Okay.
I just had a download on that regard too, Samantha, is you're talking about the ancestral energy and what that can do. So the energy of all of our timelines can show up within our environment. And, spiritually, our ancestors and those who have ascended, and those of our spirit guides and anyone who's watching over us, and also within the earthly realm as well. So within Feng Shui, if there is and Sam, if you see this happen with anybody that you're working with, and there's an ancestral repetition or an energy that is lingering and triggered, then you would look to the left wall, the far left wall. When you're looking in the door, there's in the center. So if you divide it into threes, the front, the middle, and the back, the center of the left wall, the left side, is the energy that contains family and spiritually as well. So that family gua It's ruled by earth energy. I'm sorry, ruled by wood energy. I looked at earth and said earth. It's ruled by wood energy, and it should have a good representations, like it'd be great plates for plants, florals, any floral patterns, greens, purples, columns. But it would be, goodness, I have to get some water. But if on the other side, when you're looking at that wall, you want to make sure that, again, if you need to clear out and do a clearing and a blessing there, that would be very beneficial to try to scramble any frequencies that no longer serve, and then build back in with intention a really beautiful environment that's representative of wood, nourishing of wood. Adding in some water and some mirrors to feed that wood would be really great. Minimizing any metal, because metal can chop, but that's an interesting component that I'm sure you see a lot.
Absolutely, yeah. In relationships, what I call, we have a relationship fate and a relationship destiny. And when we're talking about our relationship fate, we're talking about what we're programmed with, what we've inherited. So how mom and dad interacted, how grandma and grandpa on both sides interacted, how mom and grandma interacted. All these things really develop how we relate in relationships, how we feel, if we feel worthy, if we feel connected, if we feel seen, if we feel loved. So the ancestral history when it comes to relationships is always so important. And another couple things that kind of influence our relationship state is, of course, our childhood experience with said caregivers and our nervous system and how our nervous system is programmed. For example, I work with a lot of people who have been adopted or who had kind of tragic 0 to 7 childhoods, and maybe they were separated from mom for a certain amount of time, or their mom wasn't very nurturing. That literally affects our nervous system. Is like we begin to reject love because we learn to reject mom at a very young age, because we don't feel safe, we don't feel loved, we don't feel nourished the way a mother archetype is kind of supposed to do for the health of the nervous, our body and our attachment patterns. So again, your relationship state is really formed by your nervous system and how it was programmed during childhood, as well as your ancestral history and like what is the karma of your lineage. What are you meant to learn? For me, I'm meant to learn how to be less critical of men, less critical of the masculine, and more appreciative and grateful. And that shows up clearly in my relationship karma. So then what we get to do through Feng Shui, through Shamanic healing, through however we decide to address it, what we get to do is create a new relationship destiny. And that's when we turn these icky places in our home or these icky places inside of us, this trauma, into our greatest gift, into what we give a relationship. So for someone who is saying they didn't have maybe enough time in a relationship, that's when time gets to be your most valuable and appreciated and juicy resource, where it's like a hot love affair because we get a dinner out on the town. Like it gets to become our gift, and that's kind of how we determine our relationship soul destiny, essentially. And obviously, like Feng Shui is one really important way to support that. But know that take the route you feel kind of called to in healing this relationship pattern, and wherever you, for me anyways, there's been different parts of the journey where I've wanted energetic work, where I've wanted house support, where I've wanted more realistic, okay, I need to understand the science. So wherever you're at, just really, again, intention and intuition will really guide you in creating a conscious relationship and healing and removing kind of icky stuff that hangs around.
And when you were talking about that like child wound concept and what we grew up with and experience and how we retain that, even if we don't even remember, it's recorded on some level and shows up. And in Feng Shui, it's all about creating spaces that help make you feel safe and secure. and not open to threat. So when you have your space set up in a way that is feng shui, it brings back that safety, and it can help reduce anxiety that we often project and we don't even realize we're doing. It's imprinted in our energy. So if we take it back to our child selves, and we don't get a chance to, not all of us can remember that or what might have happened, but that's a place where within children and creativity, you can send a lot of love and nourishment to your child's self. And remember, words carry an energy too. So that means that the mantras that you say within this space are important. The music that you play within this space is important and carries an energy. And you can send love to your child inner self and create a space that makes you feel safe and no one's going to sneak up to you. We talk a lot about in Feng Shui, making sure that you have visibility to the entrances. And that means when you're setting up your places where you're sitting and spending time with your partners, or where you imagine spending time with your partners, that you set up your vignettes in a way with your furniture so that you have visibility of the front or what the main entrance. And if you can't do that, then you're using reflections and mirrors. So there's cures and ways to work around it. It gets a little bit more intricate, but with the goal to always be safe and secure and reducing that fight or flight that we have within us. It's going to help you have more rest throughout the day. And then ultimately you can go to bed at night and get completely nourished. And so that your energies are restored to where they need to be, so that when you go out, you're radiating your best self energy. But I really like what you mentioned there. And I had not thought about that coming into this conversation. So that's beautiful.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense for home to feel safe and cozy. It's how I like to relate to it. Just like cozy.
Yeah,
like
cozy.
I feel held. I feel
Like
safe.
held.
And
Yeah.
and that is good for our nervous systems, and therefore good for our relationships. Because the only times we have problems in our relationship, like actual problems, relationship destroying problems, is when we are dysregulated, when we are triggered, some people might call it, right? When we are just thrown off balance and not feeling the love that we hold in our hearts. Obviously, there's some realistic incompatibility things, but I think most things really have to do, most relationship endings that I've seen in some of the, sorry, I'm just letting some more people in some of the clients I've worked with, is the trauma comes up and we don't know how to deal with that trauma. We don't know how to deal with that dysregulation. So having a safe and cozy home just sounds like a beautiful foundation for my own regulation and my relationship. So that's wonderful. Is there anything else you would add, Lisa, before we kind of move into the questions piece?
Yeah, so you mentioned foundation too for that safety and security that we desire, but Feng Shui, it gives you and I mentioned toolbox before, but it gives you a system. And rather than just kind of letting, life steer you in the direction in which you are going, using Feng Shui can help give you a little bit more of a sense of control and a way to assess how the energies may be showing up in your own life. And everybody has that natural instinct, intuition, and intention within them. And Feng Shui is just a name of the tool of communication, or the way to direct and manipulate energy, that we all have this innate ability. It's just the way of teaching it and learning it is a way of remembering and having really just a greater control and confidence, and having that clarity towards your situations in your relationships. And I think too, you mentioned it foundations, and I keep coming back to the word grounding, but in today's world, we have so many airy, flighty things going on where, even like energetically don't have our 2 feet on the floor. So as much as you can do to ground in and get that stable foundation before you start your day and integrate Feng Shui with your mindset practices is going to be help you exponentially grow in any area, in any direction.
Awesome. Amazing. So I would love to kind of open it up for specific questions to maybe letting go of the past in relationships. Maybe you're wanting to attract a specific kind of partner. Maybe you're caught in the same kind of pattern that you're repeating in your relationship. I would love to open up for specific questions so that you can receive feedback. So if you do have a question, either you can put your question in the comments, or if you'd like to be unmuted, go ahead and put, I have a question, and I'll unmute you. Before we get into that, so go ahead and do that for anyone who has a question. Before we get into that, Lisa, if people would like to kind of experience more of you or kind of get a deep dive on their Feng Shui and their home, how can they kind of find you and work with you?
Yeah, so I'll definitely make sure that I drop some links within. I can put some in the chat, but I own a consultancy called Cloud9 Feng Shui. And that is where I work with people on a Feng Shui consultation and energetic support level. And you can find me in all the social media at Cloud9 Feng Shui. And that's the number 9 if you're typing it out. And I'll drop that in the chat too. And then also through the Intrinsic School of Feng Shui that I've co-founded with Steve Kodad of the Feng Shui Cure. We created a Feng Shui school. It's been operating for over 3 years now. And we have trained and apprenticed well over 40 individuals through the program to become certified intrinsic Feng Shui practitioners. That means they not only learn the foundations and the general practices, but then the deeper lessons levels that were taught by our masters to us, and then our business practices as well if they wish to integrate Feng Shui in as a business. And then we integrate them, we pay for them to join the International Feng Shui Guild, where they can really just have more support within the international world as far as Feng Shui practitioners and continued learning. So learning and wisdom and knowledge is first and foremost in Feng Shui. Continual and on a spiritual level, a mental level, continually to develop yourself is a huge goal. So you can reach out to me through either of those means. Find me on Facebook and through Sam.
Absolutely, yeah. So if you, this is going to be live in my Facebook group. I'm also going to send it out to anyone who is registered into my email. And my people have my email, and I will include Lisa's links as well. So I just want to give one more opportunity if anyone has questions. Most of you, I mean, I recognize about half the names who have joined and hopped off and that kind of yumminess. But if you're feeling stuck in your negative relationship patterns or just feeling like stuck in general, I offer shamanic healing sessions, which are a deep energetic surgery and past life trauma clearing, and they're just so deep. They're wonderful, and people feel completely new after the session. The next day, I've had people just like attract a partner. I've had people make money in their business when they haven't made sales in months. I've had people just feel just amazing after them, which is enough of a reward. So definitely reach out to me. I also specialize in ancestral healing and have an ancestral healing mini course that I just created that some people have already gotten into. So again, you can reach out to me at Samatha at truthhealing.co, Samantha at truthhealing.co, and we can get into it. Lisa, do you have any last messages for can you write that out? Yes, I can.
No, really beautiful. And Sam, it's been such an honor to know you, and you've helped me a lot in just our interactions together. So it's really just the combination of that inner and outer work is just next level. So I think there's no accident that we have met in this.
Absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely not. I'm also going to put my link for shamanic healing. So if you want more information on that, you can copy and paste that. I have been so blessed to know you, Lisa, and to share. I feel like we went over so much and that it would benefit everyone to kind of receive your individual targeted support as a projector that you are. And I feel like we could really go on in conversation forever, but I want to keep it simple and clear for people and just useful in that way, and kind of open the opportunity. If you have specific questions for yourself, just reach out to me or Lisa or whoever you have questions for. Is there amazing? So it doesn't look like anyone has any questions. So thank you all for joining, and I appreciate you for prioritizing your energetics in a world that wants us distracted. This is our true power and our true sovereignty. So I thank you all for showing up for that.
Thank you so much. It's been so great to get in all of your energy, and I appreciate you sharing with us. And we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Absolutely. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.